and not just because it was his first win, but it showed you what he was capable of, and then obviously we've got to see that ever since.
This hole's been good to him. Birdie yesterday, and trying for another one today. Frankie took plenty of time on this birdie putt. He looked at it from 3 different angles. He forgot one very important ingredient.
Yeah, pace. You can definitely fall in love with the line, even with approach shots as well, but obviously we see it more on putting.
As his par. Frank, in today's modern game where players are hitting it so far, I always feel like one of the more exciting holes is a reachable par 5. And here we are at the 5th, 570 yards.
Yeah, this is reachable providing you hit a good drive. Otherwise, it becomes very awkward on the layup. You're sort of often threading the ball out of trees and just trying to find some sort of third shot. So to your point, big advantage with a good tee shot here.
Wow, Frank, look at that one out. Just blistered that tee shot.
That has to be 325 if it's an inch.
This could be a huge momentum swing here, Frank.
Yeah, one more good swing, and he's going to have an eagle putt coming up. I know you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but it is well on the cards.
Them niggas, man, they ride they fucking bikes over here filling water containers. So you said, yo, B, man, you got to put some water in your refrigerator, man. Pulling out for the fucking container with your shit. Gotta learn how to show. This here also is a slowdown, though. Alright? All the fucking secrets. Make your fucking trouble.
Frank, there's a real art to putting a good score on the board, isn't there?
Yeah, that's why stroke play is so tough, Rich. You're trying to minimize everything on a golf course. Turn a 6 into a 5 or a 4 into a 3. Like even off the edge of a green, trying to get up and down in 2 rather than 3. And you've got to do it for 18 straight holes, straight holes. If it's 72-hole tournament, then you've got to do it for 4 straight days. And that's why that's always been the best predictor of our best players. The ones that can go 4 days and make the least number of mistakes.
Well, he knew it right from the start. Just a poor putt. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read.
Now you playing. Fuck that one shit out there. Get you, Jimmy. What? Nigga went out. We need 11. You heard?
Wow, that was so close, Frank.
Just time to forget that one. I mean, you couldn't hit that much better.
Just a couple of feet. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
Now set to tee off at the 6th. It is a long par 3, 250 yards.
We could take a little bit off for the downhill, but whichever way you look at it, it's still going to be a beefy par 3. Protected on the left by that front bunker, and if you sort of scoot one long, there's another bunker over there as well. Surely not.
Good clean contact and a nice result. And a chance for birdie coming up. Birdie here yesterday. This putt again for birdie. It is a 4-round tournament, setting himself up for a good weekend, maybe a great one. Young star makes his birdie. Well, Frank, an eagle is in play here at the par 5 7th.
And a 6 and a 7 and an 8 or a 9, actually. This is a potential scorecard record, the 7th hole. Many a tee shot has found that creek on the right, trees, problems on the left. There's no question there's a reward for a good tee shot here. But then there's a decision on do you go for this par 5 and 2. It's not overly long, just over 530 yards. It is very tempting.
Can't ask for much more here at the 7th. He has hit a good one. Frank, second shot here at the par 5 7th. You having a go at this one?
Yes, but you still have to respect the water and the trouble around. So anything slightly left of that flag is fine.
Seems to like it. Looks like it's headed for the green. Well, he gave us a demonstration today why he's one of the best in the sport. Every green hit in regulation. Didn't fare too well on this hole yesterday. Made a bogey. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Out of the short par 4-8 here at Quail Hollow, just 350 yards. Frank, players can lay it up and just hit a little baby wedge into the green, but why not go for it in one, try to make something happen?
I think both plans work well, Rich. This is one of those holes, the more you think about it, the more complicated it gets. You're going to lay it up, lay it up. If you're going to go for it, just aim at that tree and hit it down there. Just take your medicine.
Excellent drive right there, Frank.
Circa 310.
Not a long shot here into the 8th, but Frank, this approach is still pretty challenging.
Yeah, this is a very narrow green with 4 different levels, so you can either go low, try and skip it up there, or just sort of grab a lofted wedge and try and land it and keep it on the same tee.
Really good distance control there, playing well to his strengths. These putts keep the round together. This can be a cruel game at times.
Just a fraction too aggressive. Remember, line and speed go together.
Sometimes you want that birdie so badly, and all of a sudden you're faced with a lot of work, more work than you had hoped for, just to make the par. And that's in for a par. Well, Frank, what do you think of the 9th hole here at Quail Hollow?
Oh, I think it's a beauty, Rich. One of those long, nice drawing tee shots. You know, 500 yards is a par 4. You have to hit a good drive down there. The fairway doesn't camber that much. The hole does dogleg to the left. Big advantage for a big tee shot here.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards. Frank, what's ahead now on this approach shot at the long par 4 9?
What's in favor for the player, Rich, is the fact that both the left and the right side of the green slope back towards the middle. So you can almost use them like sideboards. There's a bunker over there.
I think he's headed for it.
Rub the shamrock. Got away with getting in the bunker there.
Made par yesterday. This one for birdie. try, just didn't quite read the break, Frank.
It shouldn't be a problem if you're cleaning up here for par.
So a tester from 4 feet.
Shit's going fucking straight. Fuck is wrong with this game? Fuck out of here, man.
Good putt.
Fuck out of here, yo.
Just a superb performance on the front side. He's hoping to keep it going here on the back nine, Frank.
The game is so much easier when you're swinging well, putts are going in. Really, you just got to keep out of your own way.
Oh, the rest of the fucking way. Still wait. Fuck out of here. Shit.
In the fairway here at the 10th. Nice way to start off the back nine.
Second shot.
Frank, this really is a remarkable turn of events, considering that earlier we had pretty much written him off.
Well, we had, and for good reason, too. Was not playing well. It looked like the round was going to continue to go in that direction. But somehow, and believe me, I don't know how, he's just completely turned this round around.
Frank had hit the green, but just didn't have enough backspin.
Yeah, you wonder what he's thinking on that. I mean, just skill, and that was sublime.
Just good hands, coming out of the rough, able to manage the distance, and now in great position. Continues to amaze. Yet another birdie, and what a day it's been. Now to the par 4 11. Frank, what do you think of this hole?
It's an interesting hole, Rich, and I'm curious to see how aggressive players will play here today. The easy way, obviously, is just hit it down the right side and set up a nice second shot with a short iron. Or the most fun way is to take the big stick out and try and bite off as much of that corner as you choose. But be prepared to pay the price should it not come off.
That's a good start to the hole, right down the middle. Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
This one looks like it's headed right for the middle of the dance floor, Frank.
A rather nice shot, so.
Just a case of a hole suiting the player's eye. Made the birdie yesterday, and he has a good chance to make another one today. In the hole for birdie. Par 412 here at Quail Hollow, 456 yards. Frank, break it down for us.
Well, there's no fairway bunkers either side, so you feel like there's nothing to work the ball off, and consequently, it's very easy to sneak it in the rough on the left or the right, and then that makes that second shot so much more difficult going up the hill. This is one hole that you have to pick a line on. You really have to know you line off the tee. There's a nice big tree down there in the distance. That's the one you want to work it off.
Good strike, good lie, good chance to attack the pin. Second shot, good look at the green. So the second of the par 4 goes begging, and now I'll have to rely on the short game.
Yeah, but a short game, as we all know, can redeem a lot of mistakes. See if he does it here. Rich, I thought he could get this close.
That just is amazing. Just a mind blower right there. Absolutely incredible. He made the shot. Now the par 3, 13th hole. Frank, this one 210 yards.
Very, very good par 3. This is actually a big green. It's 37 yards deep, but it actually plays small. There's a front right portion. There's a roll-off area in the middle, and there's a roll-off area in the back. So don't be deceived by the size of this green. You better be pitching that tee shot right bang in the middle. Oh, this is right at it.
Wow, Frank, he is dialed in.
Yeah, that was just some shot in there. Easy birdie.
Birdie here yesterday, trying to do it again today. He's made it. Wow, Frank, this is a really good little par 4, isn't it, the 14th?
It is, and this is where one of those strong 3-woods comes in. The last 50 or 60 yards is the ball kicks down and towards the left, and it sounds like an aggressive play, but like a hard 3-wood trying to run it down there is actually not a bad play.
Is it drivable?
It is drivable, but it's whether it's worth the risk. That's an absolute beauty.
And here at 14, another chance to make a birdie with the right approach shot.
Yeah, laying back there a lengthy way in, the green will still kick to the left. So even though it's saying a wedge in hand, you've got to aim right at this flag.
That's how the best in the world play it, Frank.
Well, it's a little lucky that it went in, but it was always going to be close.
Well, Frank, as we arrive at the par 4 14th, just 345 yards, our players no doubt are looking for a little advice from a guy who's been there. You've done it at the highest level. What's the right play here?
Rich, after all these years, I think it's like a modified tee shot. And what I'm going to say with that is like a strong 3-wood, something that pitches around 270 and kicks 30 or 40 yards, finishes up about 20 yards short of the green. I think that's the best ploy. You won't be able to get at all the flags, but I think you'll play the hole under par for the week.
When's the right time to pull out the big driver and have a go at this green?
I don't think there is, but maybe you at home should try. Oh, that was sweet. Straight down the middle.
Looks like he's going to have a go at it here at the par 5, his second shot. That's well played. Places it about 10 feet out for birdie. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Comfortably inside the cut line, the young prodigy makes another birdie. At last, we have arrived at the start of one of the most daunting finishing stretches in all of golf. They call it the Green Mile. 16, 17, and 18 here at Quail Hollow. The 16th is a par 4, 508 yards, Frank.
And this hole was made even more difficult when they pushed that green further left to bring the water more in play with the second shot. I mean, it's a great par 4. It's strong in every single department.
Good tee shot, right in the fairway, and plenty long. Second shot out of the daunting par 4 16th hole, Frank. This is all you want.
And if you want to take the safe route, then obviously that's down the right side. That's the quickest way to get to the putting surface, and also it's the flattest side. When they start sticking the flag on the left, though, be prepared to pay the price. Short, difficult chip. Long, the ball's going to bounce over the back.
I mean, that's how the game is played, right there.
He's just making it look so easy. That birdie coming up, formality.
Now this for birdie, came away with par in the previous round. Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Frank, this is all you want in a par 3, especially late in the round. You have to carry the water. You have to deal with the pressure. At 221 yards, this requires a player's very best.
On the process of elimination, don't go long, don't go left, don't go short, and right is marginal. It doesn't leave you with much.
Here we go. That is an exceptional shot on the green and in position for a birdie.
Yeah, it's formality now.
Just a couple of feet. And he has it for birdie. Now to the finishing hole here at Quail Hollow. Frank, what can we expect?
If there was a name for this hole, Rich, it should be called Narrows. The creek that meanders its way down the left side and actually divides that hole into really half the size of what a normal par 4 should be. That makes it hard. The bunker on the right is your bailout area, just over 290 yards to get past that. And then the narrowest green still sits up against the lake. This is just a brutal finish.
Frank, this is a position where a player is absolutely licking his chops here. Good chance to make a birdie.
Yeah, this is when this game just looks like fun. The bunkers don't seem to be in play. The only thing you're really looking at right now is just the flag.
Seems to like it. Headed for the fat part of the green. That's how you play the game. Right there. Stick it in close and then knock in the birdie. Locked in on the read and the speed. And he has it.
A good putt redeems all.
There you have it. The second round is complete. Another solid effort put together, and it shows on the scorecard.
And after 2 rounds, you really start to see not only who's playing well, but who's consistent.
You know, think about it. Every time you get
The third round.
someone, we fly.
Today's coverage brought to you by EA Sports and the PGA Tour. Rich Lerner alongside Frank Nobilo set to call all the action here at the Wells Fargo Championship. We are at Quail Hollow, and Frank, it is really one of the best courses on tour.
It is a great state of North Carolina where Donald Ross developed so many great courses. They're the sort of courses that we're used to seeing. But this is a relatively new golf course. First opened up in 1961, but it certainly fits in with the North Carolina landscape. Mature trees, holes well cut out, beautiful greens, and interesting finish.
How do you like that finishing stretch? They call it the Green Mile.
Some might think it's purgatory, but I think it's the perfect touch to a great golf course.
And pays a price for that.
Yeah, when you don't see the top of the ball in the rough, you know it's not sitting pretty. And you're a bit of force to extract one out of there.
So in the first cut here, it could be worse. This is a good-looking shot. Had a birdie here yesterday in their close. Great opportunity for another one. Trying to make yet another birdie. That's not how you picture it, Frank, when you step on that first tee.
No, you'd like to go back to that first tee right now and start again.
So has the par. Moving on to the next hole, in the lead, Frank is very much intact. Frank, a nice mix of opening holes here at Quail Hollow in the Wells Fargo Championship. Pretty short par 3 here at the second.
180-yard shot. We'll play more like 175 for the half a club downhill. There's much more green on that right side. If you're not too sure what club to hit, then you should stay away from that left side.
Frank, we remember what Rory McIlroy did here in 2010, his first PGA Tour victory, a 62 in the final round. It was also the first victory for Ricky Fowler.
Yeah, and oddly enough, it was in a playoff, and in that playoff, Ricky just pulled out a driver and smashed it down there, then hit a sand iron to that front left flag, basically to gimme distance. Not only did he win in the playoff, but he beat Rory McIlroy, the then world #1 in DA points. And that was the same Ricky Fowler that, remember, in the playoff in 2015 for the Players' Championship, drove the ball in equally daunting fashion over those 3 playoff holes at TPC Silver.
Settles in over the putt. That had to really hurt, Frank, because it looked good all the way.
Well, this will test his middle.
So a tester from 4 feet. Never a bad score on the card. That's par. Frank, here at the third, players facing a challenging tee shot.
For a number of reasons, Rich. 1, that the hole bends to the left. 2, that the fairway starts to run out. And 3, the length of the second shot. You get rewarded the better you hit your tee shot down here. The great Bobby Jones used to say the hardest shot in golf's the next one. Judging by that light, it's not going to be too hard.
Frank, really good chance from this position to make a birdie.
Yeah, really the only thing he's looking at right now is the flag. This is a green light special.
control of this hole. Birdie yesterday with another opportunity on the way. Not a gimme, but well within his range.
Oh yeah, son, I forgot about that, man. Damn, Tyler. Oh Lord. Shit.
Simple, solid, and he'll take it.
But one that you need to make.
Frank, this is a muscular par 4 here at just under 490 yards, the fourth at Quail Hollow. A difficult proposition.
It is, but fortunately that tee shot plays a little downhill. But one of the difficulties with the tee shot is the fairway kicks from right to left. So it needs a good one to keep it on the fairway. And another green that has 3 different levels. Nice little bounce forward. Should be close to 300, 290.
Frank, as we look at the second shot here at the fourth, what's the best chance for a birdie?
A nice high floating second shot would be the ideal go here. Rich just pitching slightly right of the flag, but you cannot afford to miss this green on the right. In the direction of the sand.
It looks like it. Sometimes you get breaks, and you got one right there.
Yeah, I guess the bunker was a little smaller than I thought it was. It looked doomed for that.
Made a par in his previous round. This time, it's for birdie.
Good roll, good putt.
Here we are at the par 5 fifth. It's 570 yards. Frank, this should be reachable for most players, don't you think?
Yeah, if you hit a good tee shot, especially with the draw, it will be. But the hardest part of this is judging that kick on the fairway that kicks the ball to the right. And it sort of turns at that awkward area at where the top of your tee shot range. That's where that dog leg is. Well, where this ball's going, there's no fairway there, only rough. Under out of the rough. Expect the ball to jump forward a little bit.
That's what I wanted to do.
So from the rough back to the fairway, that's the right way to go.
Yeah, didn't take the bait, and at least now he's only going to play the price of a poor tee shot. Still got a good chance, though, getting away with par.
Stuffed it in there really close, and now just a tap in. Standing over this putt, concentrating on the read. Well, there's an opportunity wasted.
Just knock it in for a par, and let's forget about this one. Golf is not about perfect, but it is going to hurt the course.
And but he makes it for par. Now set to tee off at the 6th. It is a long par 3, 250 yards.
We could take a little bit off for the downhill, but whichever way you look at it, it's still going to be a beefy par 3. Protected on the left by that front bunker, and if you sort of scoot one long, there's another bunker over there as well.
Should be pretty good right there. On the safe side.
Rich, it's gone.
In the hole. You do not see that every day. That, folks, is a hole-in-one. Wow. Well, Frank, an eagle is in play here at the par 5-7.
And a 6, and a 7, and an 8, or a 9, actually. This is a potential scorecard record, the 7th hole. Many a tee shot has found that creek on the right, trees, problems on the left. There's no question there's a reward for a good tee shot here. But then there's a decision on do you go for this par 5 and 2. It's not overly long, just over 530 yards. It is very tempting.
This is when the game is fun, Frank, when you get it high in the air and you have a down breeze and you just watch it stays in the air forever.
Yeah, the hang time on that.
This could be a huge momentum swing here, Frank.
Yeah, one more good swing, and he's going to have an eagle putt coming up. I know you don't want to get ahead of yourself, but it is well on the cards.
Oh, looked like he caught a flyer right there, Frank.
Well, I don't know what he caught, but this is way too much.
Wow, lucky break right there, Frank.
Well, that's what everyone else is going to say, except him.
Frank, how rare would this be if this putt drops?
Well, this is I'd like to say once in a lifetime, but on the odd occasion we do see back-to-back eagles, but it certainly is something to watch.
Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Frank, I love a drivable par 4. In the modern power game, it really adds an element of excitement. And here we go at the 350-yard par 4-8.
Well, you're definitely going to love this one then, Rich, because it ticks all the boxes here. There's no water in play, just a few bunkers down the left and the one that protects the right side of the green. And you've got a really narrow green, so plenty of reward with minimal risk.
But this could be really good, Frank.
Oh, straight at it.
Wow, that is a monster drive down there, about 315 yards. Now playing the second here at the par 4. On the green, and looking at a birdie opportunity. This one just requires a little bit of focus. Continues to amaze, yet another birdie, and what a day it's been. Here we are at the 9th hole at Quail Hollow, 495-yard par 4. Frank, it is the longest par 4 on the golf course. Is it, in your estimation, the toughest?
I think the green stops it from being the toughest, Rich, because it does kick in from either side. But when you see holes like this, there's no surprise why the Rory McIlroys and the Ricky Fowlers have won around here. This is just a great driving par 4.
Pays a price for that.
Yeah, when you don't see the top of the ball in the rough, you know it's not sitting pretty. You need a bit of force to extract one out of there.
Well, this one should be safely on deck here. So missed the fairway, and now he's back where he needs to be.
Yeah, minimize the problems.
Setting up for an approach shot here. Frank, this is just a pleasure to watch. A player hitting on all cylinders at the top of his game.
Notice it's just flowing too. There's not a lot of deep analysis going through his mind. Just one step in front of the other. If your swing's there, you don't have to find it. If your putting stroke's there, you don't have to find it. Just let it happen.
Setting up to start the back nine here, and if it's anywhere near as good as the front nine, Frank, he'll be very happy with his score at the end of the day.
Yeah, the hardest thing right now is to just keep doing the same thing without focusing on the score.
Pretty good drive here.
Another straight one.
Frank, you played in conditions all over the world. Here come the winds now. What's the mindset?
Well, this is really what separates the men from the boys. This is where you've got to tell yourself that it's an advantage to you. Obviously, the scores will go up a little bit, given the conditions. But once again, this is going to suit the stronger player today.
You like the old phrase, swing easy when it's breezy?
Definitely when you're hitting it into a head breeze. But down breeze, tee it up a little bit, try and ride that wind some more.
In the thick stuff.
Thick? It's brittle out there.
He'll need to be strong with this. Coming out of the rough and right up next to the hole. Shouldn't be a problem here, but not a formality either. In for birdie. Down to the par 4 11. Frank, what do you think of this hole?
It's an interesting hole, Rich, and I'm curious to see how aggressive players will play here today. The easy way, obviously, is just hit it down the right side and set up a nice second shot with a short iron. Or the most fun way is to take the big stick out and try and bite off as much of that corner as you choose, but be prepared to pay the price should it not come off.
Staring at the approach now at the par 4 11. This is a good-looking shot. Well, it's obvious he is in complete command of his golf ball right now. Really not much to this. The only issue would be a lack of concentration or focus. Oh, my goodness, Frank, that is painful.
Oh, yeah, that's the... You'd rather miss the hole at times, wouldn't you?
Good putt. Frank, I think the mark of a good golf course design, changing directions. We go from a right to left hole, now at the 12th, to a left to right hole.
Yeah, there's no two holes at Quail Hollow that look the same. And this one slightly downhill. Fairway tilts a little bit to the right. And it's a bit of a sleeper. And plus you add in on top of that 450 yards plus. This is a fairway that has to be hit.
Good strike, good lie, good chance to attack the pin. So this is a challenging second shot here to the par 4 12.
It's almost like two greens, Rich. That ridge that goes through the middle about the halfway point, 18 to 20 yards. Anything over that will kick on, and anything short of that runs back to the front.
Can't hide the flagstick from that man. Birdie here yesterday, trying to do it again today. Makes the putt for a birdie. Here we are at the par 3, 13th hole. It's 210 yards. What does it take here, Frank?
It's one actually where you'd rather be conservative than aggressive here. And the reason why is this green tends to roll off at the back and the front and the middle there. So it's just something that pitches more in the central part of the green is really what's required.
Can't hide the flagstick from that man.
He is just unbelievable. That never deviated off line.
You love to watch him disappear, don't you? Now to the par 3, 13th hole. Frank, this one 210 yards.
Very, very good par 3. This is actually a big green. It's 37 yards deep, but it actually plays small. There's a front right portion, there's a roll-off area in the middle, and there's a roll-off area in the back. So don't be deceived by the size of this green. You better be pitching that tee shot right bang in the middle.
Frank, this one's going too far left, it looks like.
Yeah, it was fine there for a little while, but if it keeps going left, it's doomed.
You have to think he'll be happy with that, given that it looked like it was headed right for the rough.
Yeah, it looked like that was the only place it was going to finish, but, well, it's a little bit unexplainable. Let's see what he does from here now. Lucky break.
Go through this back nine, could use this birdie here at the 14th. You don't want to let this one get away. This is about concentration and focus at this point. Now at the par 5, 15th hole, 577 yards. Frank, you remember what Rory McIlroy did here in 2010 at final round 62?
I certainly do, Rich. That was an amazing run on the second nine. And holes like this, too. He just stood up here with a driver and just obliterated it down there with a nice draw. Took those bunkers out of play and just set up a mid-iron.
That one is in the fairway, down there about 290 yards. Second from an excellent lie. Now the third shot at the par 5. Birdie try up next. So the dominant performance continues.
Yeah, we're watching two tournaments right now, the one at the top and the rest.
This is the start of what some say is the toughest finishing stretch on the PGA Tour. It's known as the Green Mile. Frank, what makes it so challenging?
Well, this hole in particular, Rich, the dogleg right, it means it plays every inch of it's just over 500 yards. That bunker you can see down the right, 325 yards to carry that. If you can fly the ball that far, at least you can chew off 2/3 of this hole, and that is well required here. Otherwise, it's a long, long second shot.
Now it's right in his wheelhouse. Good position where he can attack the pin.
Yeah, he has all those options now. That ball's sitting up. You can bring it in high. You can bring it in low. The choice is yours.
Well, you can hear it right off the center of the club face. This has a chance to be close. This hole really sets up well for the player. Birdie yesterday, and a chance for another one today. Trying to make yet another birdie. Wow, I thought he made that. Well, that would have been a bonus had it gone in, but still, reasonable chance for par here.
Yeah, there's no damage. You're not going to birdie every hole.
Just an amazing display. The records continue to fall. Frank, who are the best putters you've ever seen, and what did they do that made them so effective?
Well, there was always the Crenshaws. They putted beautifully, but the best when it comes down to it, the Tiger Woodses and the Jack Nicklauses. The ones that made them when they had to. This looks like it's going to find the target.
He's making the game look very simple right now. See it, hit it, and he's got it right on track. Settles in over the putt. You'll love them, the birdies, and that's another one. Now to the finishing hole here at Quail Hollow. Frank, what can we expect?
If there was a name for this hole, Rich, it should be called Narrows. The creek that meanders its way down the left side and actually divides that hole into really half the size of what a normal par 4 should be. That makes it hard. The bunker on the right is your bailout area. Just over 290 yards to get past that, and then the narrowest green still sits up against the lake. This is just a brutal finish.
Frank, what's the player need to watch out for here at 18?
That false front doesn't finish till at least 8 or 9 yards on, Rich, and then you've got two different tiers. Plus, it's a narrow green. Club selection here is just so important.
Appears to be a smart shot, Frank.
Yeah, no problem here. That's going to fly all the way.
Well, too bad, Frank. That one rolled right off the green.
It was just coming out so hot. Number out of the rough. Expect the ball to jump forward a little bit.
And he's made the green. And it's a long way to the hole from here. Never easy. Par here's fine, isn't it, Frank? Frank, in golf, there's nothing quite like the final round of a hotly contested championship, and this one could be a doozy.
And there's nothing quite like that leaderboard I'm looking at right now. We are going to have some amazing golf. This one is going to have to be won.